Greetings guys, this is Rich. Hope you guys are all doing well. And I do hope you guys had a good Christmas. I for one did. Plenty of chocolate, booze, and all our sorts of things. So yeah, it was quality. Hope it was for you guys too. But yeah, today we're going to do a little shield Corax. This has been treating me very well. This is probably one of my favorite destroyers now. You can apply out to kiters with like javelins, so you don't really need to worry too much about that. A good kiter is still going to have you beat here. But it's nice to know that you can maybe like force off kiters if you're sliding into those. You might be a bit freaked out without the web, right? You might be thinking you might not be able to apply to frigates and that, but basically if you stick with faction missiles, you should apply to most frigates. Fast ones like Dramiels and Succubuses might be a bit rough, but we have a Dramiel fight here just to show how okayish we're applying, so you can still, fight those without the web. But again, it's like regular like T1 faction frigates, you should be fine. Destroyers you'll have no problem applying to. In which case you want to be using rage missiles against destroyer and up, but rage missiles won't apply too well to frigates. Just because you don't have that web. Even with a single web, you probably wouldn't apply that well. You really need the two webs to apply well with your rage missiles. But yeah, against frigates, use your faction. We mostly sticking with Scourge missiles because that's what we're bonused for. If you're going up against, say, like some like T2 Galante or T2 Kildari, they have really good kinetic resistances. So you're forced to use Nova missiles at that point. But I don't really recommend going against AFs. And a solo destroyer fighting most assault frigates, and this is going to be very hard for you. You feel free to give it a bash. Just know it's going to be a hard fight, or the odds aren't in your favor for that win. I'm using a couple little implants, none of which are required. We are using a 3% rate of fire, 3% damage, and a 3% shield, just to get that little extra bit of shield HP on the go. So like the heated adaptive, we're getting like 13k HP, which is pretty gnarly in a destroyer. With the also a pyro those two, sorry, I forgot to mention this. With all those going, a heated Scourge Rage is doing 350 DPS, which is pretty damn gnarly with the tank that we've got going on here. With Scourge, Faction Scourge, the one we're using against frigates, we're doing about 300 DPS, which is actually pretty sweet. But yeah, you can pretty much engage any frigates. Comets can actually give you a good run for your money, and they can actually potentially solo you, blaster ones. And any of them can disengage. But yeah, enough about that. Let's go on to the fights, boys. Okay, for our first fight, we have this Sneezus. And my god, is this a tanky Sneezus, by the way? This is a dual A-type Sneezus here. So I was wondering what the hell was going on during this fight. Like, he's pretty tanky for... I was expecting dual rep, right? I wasn't expecting his particular fit here. So I was like, oh, okay, Sneezeuses are always an interesting one to go against. He also has newts. So I was like, what's going on here? But it turns out he's dual cap injected, and dual rip with, I think it was 2 newts? It was a very peculiar fit, man, and I was just like, I don't know, once I seen him starting rip like this, and their adapt is going to get turned off, I was starting to be a bit stressed here, boys. I wouldn't lie. I don't know if I'm in my pod at the moment. I don't think I was at this time, so we're lacking 6% extra DPS, which we otherwise would. And had we lost this without me beating that pod, I would have freaked out, boys. No, I'm kidding. It was this is down to the wire though, for sure. He's tagging my missiles thing, and be careful with your heat management and destroyers. It's really easy to burn out your guns, and just because you have so many guns on your rack, and they cycle usually quite fast. So just be mindful that you can burn those out, and basically burn out your modules and you're done. Just do keep an eye on heat management. It is very close at this point. I'm getting him at the hull, I blow, and we take it, boys. Okay, here we have a thing against Corax. If there's a destroyer that's going to give you a run for your money, it's a Corax. Usually you're going to orbit close in Corax and try and get under their guns somewhat. Even though you've got a huge stick in your destroyer, you can potentially get under their guns a little bit. You might see the occasional little grazing. And that's as we're just like glancing there. Like that basically like wins it for you, right? If he like starts at range and we have to come into him, we probably lose this. If we start at 0 like this, we can mitigate a little bit of damage. We can take the fight, albeit very close. Okay, this is against a Thrasher. Against any Thrasher, I usually just approach, because I'm expecting them to be a already dual web. And they basically want to pull range. So I try and kill them before they pull range. This turns out to be an autocannon Thrasher. So instead of orbiting 500, we want to keep at like 8k to get out these fall off. We might not be able to pull range. In this case, this Thrasher was AB. so he was able to keep up with us. Had he been MWD, we would have turned it off, being able to make range control here. So this fight is incredibly down to the wire, but our friend does make a mistake here, and he ends up burning out his guns. So we do end up taking it. Okay, here we have a fight against a Catalyst. I start in a Plex, and I want to orbit about 7.5k. We could have orbited out further, but we need to keep ourselves enticed enough for the Catalyst to stay and fight us here. So basically we're staying out of his void and antimatter range at this point, forcing it to get into its optimal whilst we were applying full damage. Yeah, basically wanted to stay out and maybe force it to switch to null if it was MWD fit, but this is an AB web fit, so it has no problem getting into void or antimatter range. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If it was MWD and was forced to switch to null, it would have been better for us. You see that our friend here is trying to pull range. He knows he's probably going to lose at this point. And yeah, but thankfully we were able to kill him before he pulls range. Sorry, Bim. Bim's one of the good dudes. This is a fight against Aprocrit. We've fought him many times before, and he's keen for his shield Algos. So there's not too much you can do in a fight against Algos. Basically, check the guns. I see it's rails, so we're going to orbit 500, maybe mitigate some damage from those rails. If it was blasters or autocannons or something like that, we want to orbit 7.5. Or just like try and get far fall off or completely out of their range just to mitigate that damage. There's nothing we can really do against the drones. I don't recommend like primary drones, there's no reason to do so. Unless maybe it's a kitey Algos. And we can't actually, you know, shoot the main Algos. But yeah, GF boys. Okay, this was a fun little engagement here. These guys were very keen to both fight me, and I didn't want to brawl them both at the once. So what I needed to do is try and separate them, get one in the Plex, one in the out, or warp at range like this, and let one of them come after me. Since he's approaching me, our rockets actually get more range, so even though we are at 13k just now, they're flying back to him, giving us extra range in our rockets, so we're still applying. I'm going to keep my Scram heated here just in case he's MWD. It doesn't seem like he is because of the speed that he's got right now. If he was MWD, he'd be like literally right on top of us. One of these gentlemen is a Nuber, I believe. That Thrasher, I think, only has T1 guns. The Catalyst is proper fit. That was great. I was able to primer him off the field. And then what I'm going to do is orbit the Thrasher at 7.5k here. Keep in his far fall off, especially since he's using T1 guns. This is easy at this point. If they're both brawling like at 0, we have definitely lost this. But since we're able to separate them like this, get rid of that Catalyst, not even taking much damage from him whatsoever. This Thrasher is also pretty chill to take on, so it's good that we're able to separate them like this and get a good fight there. Okay, this is the fight against a Dram. This Dram does end up disengaging, I'll just say that now, but it's just like a proof of concept to show that we can apply still pretty well without the whip. And the bonus that a Corax gets to missile application. Even something as fast as this Dramule, we're still able to, you know, do good damage on it. Succubuses, though, I would be very scared of. Just because they can just disengage, or they're probably good to mitigate your missile damage. But some against like it, and that's the thing. That's probably the one downside of this fit. Destroyers not so much, but frigates, just because you don't have that web, stuff can very easily disengage from you. Any faction frigate, especially like the ones with dual webs, even single webs, you know, like a Comet can pull range from you incredibly quickly, like a Hook Bill, something like this. But yeah. Okay, here's the fight against a Comet and a Merlin. Comets are really good against you actually, because they have I believe Galante has 35% base kinetic resistances on T1 hulls, so they're actually very good at tanking kinetic, and especially since Comets like have all the tank in the goddamn world. They're really good at tanking you, actually. There was a gentleman who sold me in a Comet. I lost the footage, though. A lot of the footage I've lost for this Corax last week, which I was so angry about. But you'll see how well this Fenemy Comet applies. And I actually went for that Merlin first. I don't know what my thinking with the Comet primary was. That's a dual web, small ANSI Merlin, which you could nuke. And for our last fight, boys, is like Ishkar. Probably one of the few AFs I'd probably give a bash. I'm using Nova faction missiles against this guy, not Scourge, because he would be able to tank those easily. This guy has an MWD, so you'll see we're actually able to, control range in this guy. If he had an AB and was able to get into blaster range, he probably would have killed us here. Most AFs shouldn't have too much of a problem killing a solo destroyer, just because of the fact that assault damage control is so goddamn strong. And the AFs are doing comparable DPS to destroyers these days. Something like an Enyo or something like that would have no problem dispatching you. But something like an Ishgar. What else? I'd probably give a Wolf a bash. Because you're doing really good damage towards it. You can maybe range control if it's like MWD Scram. And that's all the fights I had for you guys today. I do hope you enjoyed. I probably will do a part 2 to this Corax. I've had so much fun flying it. And, oh, just like I mentioned, man, like, I think it was not the week before, but the week after. Like, I recorded all my footage in one sitting. Well, like a week or so. And then I review it. What happened was my Streamlabs was off, like, kilter. It was like a big black, what do you call it, bar down one side. I was so gutted, man. There's so much good fights there, man. There's so many good. Remember, there's a great bunch of fights against Sneaky and another gentleman. Totally sorry, I forgot your name. The Coraxer Pilot. You know who you are, gentlemen. And then like there's a really cool fight against Antivirus, and he's what was it? I think it was like a polarized what do you call it, Tyrannus, which I really want to show, which was so fun. I did end up winning that one, but it was like surprisingly close, man. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was a real shame that I lost a lot of that footage. So probably I'm doing a part 2. I mean, you'll notice that like most of the fights here were just like the DSA versus Destroyer. Nothing like too crazy, not like against a bunch of like frigates or stuff. Most of that was, of course, lost, you know, all the cool stuff. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed regardless. Again, I want to reiterate, I hope your Christmas bloody awesome, boys. Mine's was, man. Like, plenty of chocolate, food. I am well and truly stuffed, boys. And but yeah, anyway. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And yeah, enjoy your Friday, guys. Do take care.